This is Hornady's free 4DOF app. It's like having a ballistic lie detector and ballistics lab in your pocket, and this is what we're going to talk about in this video. Gavin Gee here from UltimateReloader.com. We're here in Central Oregon. I'm here with Seth Swerczek from Hornady. Thank you, Seth.
Thank you, Gavin.
For bringing us out here with Leupold and with Aero Precision. This has been an absolutely awesome opportunity to do some hands-on training, some classroom learning, and to talk about 4DOF.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so just for background, we've been using 4DOF through the web interface for articles and for videos, and it's been awesome. But when you showed us how easy it is to use this app, I was like, okay, well, I think we have a new solution here.
Right on.
Why don't we do this? I'm gonna give you my phone. We got kind of three different considerations here. We've got the rifle, the ammo, and the environment, all of which the 4DOF app can take full advantage of. Why don't you show us first how easy it is to set up all of those different parameters, and then we'll take a look under the covers to talk about all the engineering investments and data that Hornady has put together to make this possible.
That sounds great.
Okay.
Yeah, the 4DOF app, to set up a profile, it's super simple. And one of the beautiful things about using 4DOF and about using drag coefficient based solutions is we've all heard the saying, good data in, good data out when using a BC based calculator. Well, the problem with using BC is you can put all the good data in and still get bad data out. Well, with 4DOF, it has the actual drag of your individual bullet. So you put good data in, you always get good data out.
Now, is that just Hornady bullets?
No, we've got a full library that's always growing of Hornady, Berger, Sierra, Nosler, Vapor Trail, Warner Tool. We've got a whole host of bullets in there, and we're always adding to it.
And you can always go by your own BC and do calculations without 4DOF if you choose that option
Of course.
as well, right?
We have a BC side, but to create a profile, it can be as simple as this. You select the 4DOF tile, you'll go into your favorites, and in the upper right-hand corner, you have the plus icon. That will create a new profile. Now you can change your photo here just to make it more organized for you. The only field that's required is title. So you're gonna wanna name it. And in this case, we'll name it Gavin Gear, but you can name it anything you'd like. The rifle and optics fields are not required. You can put whatever's in there, just for organization, but not required. And then the big one here is the bullet. So if you select the bullet, it will bring up the full library of Hornady bullets. They're listed first, but then every other bullet we have in here, from Barnes to Berger to Nosler, you name it. And then we've also got a good library of 22 long rifle bullets.
Oh, nice.
For 22 leagues, like the NRL Hunter, the PRS 22 division.
Can I just say that's awesome? Because every time we go to do long range rimfire, we're in some cases having to shoot targets at like 50, 100, 150, 200 to just keep track of what's going on, because it feels like a totally different and random sometimes problem domain.
It is. It's tough, especially those longer distances for those little pipsqueak bullets at no velocity. It can be tough. So once you're in here, you'll just select your bullet. In this example, let's say a 6mm 110 grain ATIP. That's the bullet I compete with.
Yes, those shoot awesome in 6-dasher, by the way.
In anything, really.
Yeah.
So for brevity, we'll skip the set load info, but if you were hand loading, you can open this tab and put in all of your reloading notes. And this is also where you can turn on ammunition temperature sensitivity. If you toggle that on and select the powders drop-down menu, there's a suite of propellants that we've tested for temperature stability.
Yeah.
And that will automatically calculate your new velocity based on what temperature you tell the calculator. So the set rifle info, this is the important part. This is where you're going to input your muzzle velocity and all of your parameters. So if you have a really good velocity, we recommend using something like a LabRadar, the new Garmin unit, to get a really good average velocity using as high a sample size as you can. In a 6mm Creedmoor, that thing's going to be doing about 2950. This is where you can set your zero range, and an advanced feature would be the zero angle, but we'll leave that out for, again, the beginners. Your sight height, which is adjustable, you can usually use the plus and minus icons, the scroll bar, or you can just simply press the number and manually input your sight height. Same thing with barrel twist. Impact windage would be if your target, or excuse me, if your group was to the left or to the right of your zeroing, but you couldn't go 1/10 of a mil without going this exact opposite, you can put an input or an impact windage that will offset that for you.
Yeah.
The bore diameter will pre-populate based on your bullet selection, and then your axial form factor. This is another advanced feature that really allows you to true this thing up to give you perfect drop data at any range. Now, we put in an average drag curve, and things like muzzle device, whether that be a brake or a suppressor, the type of propellant, the different rifling configurations, that'll all impact your drag maybe 1-2%, and you can account for that here. You can set your input and output into US standard, which is the default, or metric, and then you simply change your units to MRADs, which is what we're using.
Yep.
You hit save, and it's as simple as that. Then to access that profile, you simply press it, and you're in what we call the HUD, or the heads-up display. And you'll notice your total come up and your total windage at the bottom, and those are live fed by your windage wheel and your elevation wheel. So on the left, this is your target distance. You can scroll or manually input it, and it'll update down here at your total come-ups. Likewise, your wind. You simply use the wheel to say what direction the wind is coming, and this wheel to say what the speed is.
Yep.
And based on the wind speed and direction, it'll update your come-ups and your windage hold. And then on the top, you can pair this to a Kestrel or a Weather Flow or a Calypso, or you can simply press Edit Environment. And what we've done here is, if you know your altitude and pressure generally trend together rather linearly unless there's a weather front coming in. So if you know your altitude, you know we're at about 2,300 feet right here, it'll automatically adjust your pressure. You can manually adjust your temperature or your humidity, hit save, and you're really ready to go right out of the box.
That's awesome. And, you know, having put this to use, yesterday when we were kind of shooting prone and going out, we went all the way out to 1,100. I didn't miss until I got to 1,100, and that was because my wind call was just slightly off. So the data was spot on. I was dialing to exactly what it was telling me. Of course, the wind is always the trickier thing. Right?
Always is.
What's the direction, what's happening near, what's happening far, what's happening in between. But to get as close as you can, you know, with this kind of thing is awesome. And then you can also get to a grid view, is that correct? Like a dope card?
Yeah, absolutely. So if, down here in the bottom right, you can select that, and it'll bring up a table. So if you want to go 1,000 yards in 100-yard increments, it'll give you, you know, your trajectory in inches, your trajectory and windage holds, your gyroscopic stability, which is important to know sometimes, aerodynamic jump, and it'll tell you on the far right your time of flight and your impact velocity and impact energy. So for hunters, and here's a quick tip for you, if I'm out in the field hunting, I'll set this to every 50 yards out to maybe 500, and then I'll screenshot it and save it as my phone background. And now I have a quick way to access dope in the field.
I do that with my boarding pass
there you go.
all the time. Save it to the camera roll. Great job on the app. I'm super excited to actually put this to use in the field in real time, you know, because this event has proven to me that this is the real deal.
It is.
Now, can you talk a little bit now about what's different about 4DOF? Because in the classroom, we talked about some of that, and it opened my mind to, okay, well, this truly is kind of taking both the empirical data and all of the different variables and factors kind of to the next level.
Exactly. And it really is an advancement, not just for Hornady, but really for the shooting industry. And the big difference is, like I mentioned previously, it uses drag coefficient. So the difference there is, we've all used a ballistic calculator with BCs. And generally, you put in 3 things that you know about the bullet, maybe 4. So you're going to put in the bullet weight, you're going to put in the BC that they give you, you're going to put in the bullet diameter, and maybe you're going to put in the bullet length, you know, in a BC calculator. That's 4 things. Well, when you select a bullet, in this example, I used the 110 ATIP. When I pushed the button, what that did is it brought up the exact physical model of the bullet. That is, got the different jack thickness and core layout and all the mass properties. It brought up that drawing. It brought in 437 unique values to that specific bullet. Pitch and yaw coefficients and transverse inertial properties and all kinds of crazy scientific stuff that are specific to that individual bullet. So it uploads that and it uses those numbers to generate the trajectory solution. So do you want to know, do you want your calculator to know 437 values that are unique to that bullet? Or do you want it to know maybe 4 things and then make a comparison to the G1 or the G7 standard?
Right.
When you could just have your bullet as the standard. And that's really what this does.
Gotcha. Well, this is really cool. So you can go to Hornady's website. In the App Store, I searched Hornady Ballistics, downloaded that app that's got the 4DOF capability in it. Now, how about the Android, like the Google Play Store?
Absolutely, same thing.
Hornady Ballistics?
Hornady Ballistics.
And does this work on tablets as well?
Works on tablets, and that's a good point, Gavin. So we ask you when you sign in, you can operate as a guest, but you really want to create a profile because that's saved to the cloud. So you log in with your email address, you create a profile, and then if you log in on a tablet, on a phone, if you get a new phone, somebody else's phone, all of your favorite profiles are stored and they're safe there. And again, just allowing you to have access to them no matter where you're at and what you're doing. Another important point for hunters like us, you get out into the backcountry, you do not need cell phone signal for this to operate. You can use 4DOF in its entirety without connectivity.
Nice. Great work. Thank you, Seth, so much for walking us through that.
Absolutely, Gavin. Thanks for coming out.
Absolutely. Okay, so here's your call to action. This is a free app and it's awesome, so go download it now. Create your profile. You can use it on the web, on your tablet, on your phone. 4DOF is absolutely awesome. Now, if you are using it, drop a comment and tell us how it's working for you. That concludes this video, and that means it's time to wrap it up. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, we're on Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, where we've got unrestricted content, and Instagram. Make sure to follow us on all those channels. Ultimate Reloader also has a commercial solutions division serving law enforcement, the military, and the gun industry. We have some unique capabilities, including a comprehensive suite of recoil testing and evaluation capabilities, trigger profiling, and more. If you're interested in custom rifles like what we build here on the channel or gunsmithing services, you're going to want to go to rifles.ultimatereloader.com and get on the wait list. If you want to learn lucrative gunsmithing like what I show here on the channel, including building custom rifles in Cerakote plus a whole bunch more, you're going to want to check out the Colorado School of Trades, schooloftrades.edu. Thanks again for watching.